Hello, barbecue enthusiasts, and Merry Christmas. It is Saturday, December 21st, 2019. What we're doing today is Kielbasa. A viewer had actually requested this fall, a Kielbasa cook. I simply haven't had time to get around to it. I'm getting in just under the wire. Today is the last day of autumn, last day of fall. Tomorrow is the winter solstice. So anyway, sorry for the lateness of this, Tom C. So what we're going to do today is a couple of different recipes, super simple. And I don't really do how-tos, and there's a good reason for that. For one thing, I'm a disciple of the KISS method. Keep it simple, stupid. And people who are doing a lot of these videos are far more creative than I am, both in what they're preparing and their presentation. It's just not necessary. Everything I'm doing is pretty humdrum. So, in fact, I've wound back on the barbecue videos. I'm pretty much tapped out. I've done pretty much everything I can. I have a PK360 grill. I haven't been using as much as I'd like to. I had hoped to be able to do a review on that. I just haven't used enough to transfer any objective information on that. So, again, what we're looking at is Kielbasa. Now, I have to start by saying I really screwed up. When I was in the store the other day, I grabbed a couple of sausages, a couple of Polska Kielbasas here. I just assumed they were either beef or pork. They're neither. They're kind of mystery meat. It's made with pork, turkey, and beef, and they're pre-cooked. So right off the bat, let me say, if you're going to do this, you'll want to make sure that you get all pork. That's my preference, or all beef. Beef is good too. But something that you have to cook so that you get some fat and everything out of it. There's not going to be any drippings out of this today, which is unfortunate. Fortunately, you're not going to have to eat it. I will, but you'll get the idea anyway. So for me, Kielbasa in its absolute simplest form, we'd do some duck hunting in the fall at my dad's cabin, kind of the guys on the weekends, and Kielbasa was something we threw on the grill as an appetizer before we threw our steaks or lamb chops, whatever we were having for dinner that evening. And my mother would prepare it when she'd had a hectic day and didn't have time to prepare the meal she had planned. And because we didn't get it very often, it was kind of a treat, and it consisted of this: sauerkraut, caraway seed, and of course a Kielbasa. Everything done right on the stovetop. She'd slice this up and fry it up in a skillet. This stuff would go in a pan and heat, and that was it. What we're going to do today is another. That was kind of, to do that is, there's nothing to it. The only other ingredient in common that both of these are going to have today is smoke. Both of these are going on the smokers. So two different smokers. This is going to be low and slow at 225. This is going to be at 400 degrees. I'll get into that a little more here shortly. So. But for this one, we're going to do some potatoes. A very simple recipe again. I wouldn't do it if it wasn't. So these potatoes, I got some russets. You can use any kind of potato you want. It kind of depends on, this is kind of a blank canvas. Both of these are. You can do anything you want. So this you could do for breakfast, an appetizer, dinner, whatever you want, any kind of a meal. So today I'm using the russets. I'm going to cube these into 1/2 inch. I'm probably not going to use all 4 of these potatoes, no more than 3, maybe 2. My rule of thumb is my meat to potato ratio has to be no less than 1:1. But I'm just kind of going to have to eyeball it. But again, I'm going to cube these potatoes today, the russets. You could use small red potatoes. We cook with those from time to time too, and that would lend itself pretty well to like an appetizer. You wouldn't even have to take the skins off. You could just slice them into 1/4 inch thick slices, so you'd have some medallions. You're going to have your meat medallions, so you can just stack the two together and eat them as an appetizer that way. So you could do this for breakfast, and of course you can do it for dinner, and you can do anything you want. In fact, I woke up with an extremely strong hankering for my second favorite beverage this morning. So towards the end of the cook, I'm going to do this cook slightly different than I'd originally planned in order to incorporate my second favorite beverage. It would be cruel and unusual punishment to wait until the end of the video to show you what I'm going to do. So you can move on to a better video. You don't have to stick around and find out. I'm just going to tell you what I'm going to do now. What's going to happen is these are going to get cubed again. I'm going to slice these into about 1/4 to 1/2 inch thick slices. The ingredients you see here, besides the potatoes and the meat, are just some, we're going to evenly coat everything with some cooking oil. I'm using olive oil. You want something with a relatively high heat. Got some pepper, salt. I've got fresh parsley flakes here. We usually keep some parsley on hand, so I don't need these, but if you don't have any, you could use the stuff out of the spice aisle. Because it's me, I'm going to sprinkle all of it with some cayenne. Got the fresh parsley here. I like garlic. You probably don't need 4 cloves. That's probably overkill, but that's how much I'm going to use today. So all this stuff, these are going to get cubed. This is going to get sliced. This is going to run through a press. It's all going to go together in the same bowl, just enough oil to coat everything evenly. We'll season it with this stuff. And then it's going to go into a pan, and I'll show you that later. So, and then it's going to go in the cooker at 400 degrees. Normally what I would do, and it's not, both these cooks are going to be short today, probably under an hour. This one probably much less than an hour, probably in the neighborhood of 45 minutes or so. So we'll just see on this one. I'm going to do that at 225. So, but basically all we're doing is heating this, especially since this has been pre-cooked. Nuts. So what I normally do 5 minutes or so before this was done, I'd pull it out. Yeah, I forgot to show you the other ingredient. I knew I was forgetting something. Some cheese. I like sharp cheddar, but you can use anything you want. Again, this is a blank canvas. Do whatever you want with this. You can take this and run. But anyway, what I would do with this just about 5 minutes before this was done is give a liberal sprinkling of cheese on top of it. I'm going to hold off today. I'm going to take, when this is done, I'm going to pull it off the smoker, bring it inside. I'm going to plate a portion of it and put it in the oven with some cheese on it, just a warm oven, while I fry a couple of eggs to put on top. And I have already prepared, because things are going to get a little hectic, I've already prepared some green chili sausage gravy to go over the top of that. So there you have it. This is my second favorite beverage. I stole that bit from Irma Bombeck. So you're welcome. You don't need to stick around. Merry Christmas. Have a Happy New Year. Still here? Okay. Well, this might be a good time to bring this up. Before I go any further, if you like the content of this or any of my other videos, why? Seriously, like, subscribe, I don't care. I'm doing this for my own entertainment. If you get any entertainment or any useful information out of it, that's good enough for me. If you want to comment in the comment section below, please do. Just keep it civil. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. I'm happy to answer. If I don't know the answer, I'll make one up. So anyway, I'm not going to go through the preparation of this on film. I'm just going to get everything ready to go. Once it's ready to go into the cookers, I haven't fired those up yet either. I need to get that done. But I'm going to get this stuff ready to go, fire up the pits, and then we'll tune in when everything's ready to go on so you can see what I've done. By the way, I don't think caraway seed is a barbecue thing. What could I substitute for caraway seed? What's the golden rule? If you don't know what to add. Add. You thought I was going to say bacon, didn't you? I'm not going to add caraway seed. This is barbecue. There's no caraway seed in barbecue. I'm going to put some green chilies in the sauerkraut. And then the pan I'm going to put underneath so I can catch the drippings, which I'm not going to have now in all likelihood. The pan I'm going to put underneath the kielbasa as it smokes. So, and then we'll just kind of rotate this mixture throughout the cook just so it gets plenty of smoke on it. See you shortly. Okay, we're back. The pits are fired up. I've got everything pretty much ready to go here. So I mixed the chopped green chili in with the sauerkraut. Now on the sauerkraut, you can drain the brine off. I drained a little bit off just so it wasn't too soggy, but I like the brine. Some people will even rinse the brine off. And as far as this recipe goes, you could also add some apple cider or apple juice or even apples to it. It's not really my thing. I just kind of like savory. So, but knock yourself out if you want to do something like that. Though if you do, you probably put pineapple on your pizza. Yuck. We're ready to go over here. The only thing I have left, and I might as well do it right now before I forget, is to put a little dusting of cayenne on here because I like spicy. But all this is already mixed together. You want to try to get this in a single layer if at all possible. And throughout the cook, we're going to flip this, rotate this, so all sides of the potatoes and everything get kind of crispy. So, but this smells awesome. In mixing it up, I decided that 4 cloves of garlic didn't sound like enough, so I put an extra one in. Man, I can really smell the garlic. I love the garlic. So anyway, again, both of these are going to take less than an hour in all likelihood. So this, for all intents and purposes, are already cooked. We're just warming it up. Had the sausage been raw and required cooking, yeah, it would have taken probably a good 45, 50 minutes to at 2 1/4. Maybe not quite that long. It kind of depends. I think what I'll do is probably cook this on the hotter side of the pit. I'm going to be doing this on a vertical offset. This one's going to go on a horizontal offset today. I got a Yoder Frontiersman out there, and Lone Star Grillz vertical offset out there. So again, this one relatively low and slow, though it really doesn't matter what temperature we cook that at. We want the potatoes here to get crispy, so we're shooting for 400 degrees, maybe even a little over. But that's where we're at. Pits are almost up to temperature. We'll throw this on and we'll take a look at it once we get into it. Okay, and our product just went on. Both pits are up to temperature. I've already put the other Kielbasa on the other pit as well. So I've got this burning some larger rounds just to ensure that we get some smoke on this. With a high fire like this, it's no trouble burning larger chunks of wood, but the smaller stuff would burn so clean that we probably wouldn't get any smoke on it at all. So as you can see, we're still getting fairly clean smoke. And I honestly don't mind if it's a little bit cloudy. As short as this cook is going to be today, we want to try to get as much smoke on that as possible. So you're looking at a Yoder Frontiersman here. I did an agonizingly long review on this last year, so it's not, the selection of pits today isn't arbitrary. I only have 2 wood burning pits at this location. Well, only 2. How many do you need? I have 2 wood burning pits at this location, so again, the selection isn't arbitrary. A couple of things going on. When you're cooking at high temperatures like this, you are going to cook the seasoning off the interior of the cook chamber, especially near the firebox. So as I say, I did an agonizingly long review of this pit last year, and I went into detail about the difference in seasoning on that, but the seasoning on this pit I don't like quite as much as my other pits, so I don't mind sacrificing it. It's not a big deal. You can get new seasoning on the pit again in relatively short order, so it's not the end of the world if you do cook the seasoning off. So the other issue is the Lone Star vertical offset I have. When you cook at high temperatures, I usually cook around 350 for chicken wings and that kind of thing. At those temperatures, the metal expands and contorts enough that the doors start to bind on it. It's not as bad as when the pit is new, but they still do tend to bind. So I can only imagine at 400 degrees what they'd be doing. So that's why we're using these 2 pits today. And here we are at the other pit, and it's about time to feed this one again. Temperature's starting to drop a little bit. Okay, so these have been on for about 15 minutes. I'm going to just kind of stir all this up so everything cooks and crisps, browns, smokes evenly. And here we are back at the other cooker. Same deal, we're just going to stir up the sauerkraut a little bit so that everything heats evenly and gets even exposure to the smoke. Okay, here we are. Another 15 minutes have gone by. It's time to stir them up again. They're starting to look pretty good. And back at the other pit. Okay, so these have been on for about 40 minutes. They're looking pretty good. This is when I'd normally sprinkle the cheese on. But again, I'm going to sprinkle cheese on after I get them inside, throw some eggs on them, and some green chili sausage gravy. Beautiful. Stick a fork in them, they're done. So I just got a call from my wife. She's on her way home. She was helping her cousin move today, and I didn't expect her until much later. So I'm going to hold these in the oven until she gets home so we can both partake at the same time. How's that sausage look? Oh, it's done. That's warm enough. We'll just go with it. Okay, so back inside, got this sliced up. Just going to mix this up. I guess you have to do it. It's kind of one of the deal with these things, the money shot. You got to take a bite of it. And then you got to go, ooh, ah, man, it's the greatest. I've already proffered my opinion of that in another video. It kind of cracks me up. I mean, would you expect anybody to say anything else after they've professed their expertise of making a dish and everything else? So, there we go. I'm just going to eat it right out of the dish. Get some green chili there. Mmm. Mmm. Oh my God, that is awful. I'm kidding. I know it sounds funny. You would think that green chili and sauerkraut is kind of an odd combination, but it works. It really does work. Of course, we interchangeably substitute green chili and bacon around here. Green chili goes in a lot of stuff. I don't want to get my mug in here, so I'm just going to... Wow, that really is good. So the green chilies I'm using are a mix of hot and extra hot. I like things really spicy. You don't have to do that, and chances are probably pretty good that you live in an area where it's tough to get green chilies. But if you can order them, get Bueno Autumn Roast. They're probably the best store-bought green chilies. Otherwise, just go to any of the places in Hatch, New Mexico. There are a number of vendors down there that will send you frozen green chilies and that sort of thing. So it's a little more expensive that way, but yeah, if you just want store-bought, I gotta get some more. I mean, you can't go wrong with sauerkraut and kielbasa in the first place. But, yeah, the green chilies are just awesome. Okay, enough of that. It's good. So, boring baby boomer, you say. You put your nice clean stainless steel in the smoker. What are you going to do now? Don't sweat it. Stainless steel, I just spray it with some oven cleaner, and it takes all the smoke residue and everything off. Obviously, you want to wash it thoroughly after you've done that, but it comes out just as shiny and new as when you start out. In fact, I do the same thing on bimetal thermometers. You probably noticed I don't use any electronics. I just use the thermometers, and after a couple, 3 cooks, they start to get pretty dark, especially if they've gotten some overspray from spritzing and that sort of thing. Same deal. Let me pause this. So same deal, I just spray these down with some oven cleaner. This has been used many, many, many times. As you can see, it's perfectly clean. So, but you do want to be careful with these. These are not watertight. So what I'll do is I'll spray down the crystal on this, or the face, or the lens, whatever you call it. And then I'll spray down the back. And then I'll just set it in the sink like that, let it sit for a few minutes. And then I use one of the non-abrasive blue scrubbies under warm water, and just everything just comes right off. And then I dry them off, and then I put them in a preheated oven at 350 degrees to cook off any moisture that may have gotten inside there. I do have some that there has been some moisture intrusion, but it doesn't seem to affect them that much. So. All right, try that and tell me what you think. Or tell them what you think.
That's good.
Okay, so that's Kielbasa. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a very Merry Christmas and a happy and prosperous 2020. Adios.